Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Harakah, Kadash, double honors unto the apostles and elders, great millstone who rule well, and shalom to the hopeful elect. It's a to the point, uh, you know, quick sip of Numbers 1 and 18, all right? And it reads, And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the numbers of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls. So I'm going to read it again and break it down bit by bit. And they assembled all the congregation together the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers. Okay, so what you understand here is fathers, all right, determine your race, your lineage. Okay, because when we double back, the word pedigree, right, goes back to the Greek, I believe, or Latin. I'm not too sure at this point in time, but you can look it up. All right, pedi is where you get the same word pedicure, which is dealing with your feet, manicuring of your, the cutting of toenails and whatnot. But the reason why it's called pedicure is because the first word pedi, which is found here also, means foot, okay? All right? Or in this case, it could be foot or base or root, all right? And the gree means gene, okay? So this is it's saying that the fathers determine what the foot of your genealogy, right? And it also says the congregation, which further, plays into the fact the word excuse me, the word congregation, basically the scripture that comes to mind is Ezekiel 34 and 31, where it tells you that the Lord assembled his congregation, that the congregation of the pasture of the Lord's congregation is men, something to that effect. But basically saying his congregation is men, all right? So that shows you when the Lord is talking about an assembling of a congregation, it wasn't men and women, it was talking about men specifically, right? And those men assemble themselves in their family, in their houses, according to their lineage, all right? So the different tribes, all right? So that's the main point. And when you go through all the scriptures in the Holy Scriptures, you always find that they, when they deal with the genealogies of men in the Word, even women, Mary, for example, in the book of Luke, the 3rd chapter, it's all men mentioned there. The only one that's coming to mind at this point in time that shows women is in Yahweh Shai's one in Matthew, the 1st chapter. But guess what? Those women are to really complement the men. And I mean, when I say compliment, that might not be the best word to say, but it's basically to, give more depth in the story, because those women were basically like, women that had a story within those genealogies. They were of some regard, like Rahab, the harlot, okay? Like Ruth, like Bathsheba. Well, she ain't even mentioned by name, but you have certain women that are mentioned by name because their stories are quite. There is some kind of they have some high regard to show that within his lineage is those women, okay? But that's neither here nor there, because at the end of the day, all the genealogies are shown by what men, okay? If it was any other way, the 12 tribes of Israel. Why the 12 tribes of Israel are sons of Israel, okay? 12 tribes that I spoke of in the book of Revelations, the 7th chapter, as those being 12,000 from each of them are going to be saved. They're all the sons of Israel. Where's the tribe of Dinah? There's not one, all right? And there's a reason why, okay? Even today in this modern day and age, when you have surnames, what do you have? You have according to the traditional, rule before, this recent change, modernization of marriage and modern traditions come into play, of double barrel names. You always had a man would marry a woman, and a woman would lose her father's house name and adopt that of the man that she's marrying. And why would that be done? Because that was a player that was really like an ancient form of a woman being a male possession. That was the acknowledgement of that. But that's why it's changed now, because it's with the modern times of equality and whatnot. But that's been a thing of old. It's always been known that a man's lineage, everything comes through the man. Okay, because even trying to for example, okay, everything comes from a man. The woman becomes a possession unto a man. The children, when they come forth, what surname do they have? Traditionally, they would have had the surname of the man, because why? The sperm goes back to the Greek word sperma, which means seed, okay? And the seed of that man is shot inside of a woman and actually swims to an egg that is released. Not swimming, it's released. It's dropped out of into the woman's uterus to act as a fertilizer for that seed, okay? The soil for that seed that swims inside it, burrows inside it, and then after 9 months of nourishment, what happens to that seed is nourished, and then it comes forth as a baby that'll be sprung forth, and then has the surname of who? The man, right? Because it's the possession of the man. Basically, that man, a woman's a baby making machine. The sperm goes inside of her, and then she gives his seed back, being a fertilized seed, basically being a child, a male or female. Okay, and then from there, that's why you even have in these modern times, you have the Scots and the Irish. They have last names like Mac or O, which basically goes back to meaning son of. All right. Then even you have the same Arabic, and the so-called Jews have the same thing, which really is both Arabic and so-called the modern Hebrew of today go back to the Paleo Hebrew, which is Lashwan Kodash, the holy tongue. They have Bin and Ben, which basically goes back to Bun, meaning son of. All right. So why do they have that? Because the child is someone's last name would always be the son of, being the son of that father, basically. All right. So, and that's even shown with in Exodus, the first chapter. It tells you that 70 souls came out of the loins of Jacob. All right, that being pertaining to his lineage. So that's really the point. All these things, they come. I'll read the scripture again and close out. So it's Numbers 1:18, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of their names, from 20 years old and upward, by their polls. So this scripture, a real basic scripture, it shows you that